Hi, everybody. How are you all doing? You guys, can y'all believe that it is like today is December 5th? So it's like 26, 27 days away from a brand new year. Like 2024 is at the end. It is so hard to believe that we are up on a whole nother year. I hope you guys have been doing great. We just came off of Thanksgiving and I got a chance to spend it with some of my favorite people. My family, they're my favorite people. They are. I love them. I have, a lot of love and admiration for my family. And so I'm always like those, they're my favorite people. Um, I got a chance to hear about my son and his wife's first Thanksgiving as a married couple and the traditions that they're creating. And even though they weren't here with us this year, I'm just so proud of them and the strides that they're taking. The end of 2023 for me was where I really started making some really big decisions about what I wanted next to be. I actually started, because I've talked about this before, I always consider my birthday as my new year. So I started around my birthday, started thinking about what do I want, you know, next to be? What do I want my life to look like moving forward? What are some things that I'm doing now that I don't want to do in the future? What are some things that I can do that I'm not doing? And so the end of 2023, I was like, I really wanted to settle more so in to who God was calling me to be. I had accepted a calling, but I was still like, I wanted it to look like this. I didn't want my calling to look this way, that way. I wanted it to look like this. It's like, God, I'm going to do this thing, but I want it to look like XYZ. And that's really not how God works. It's kind of like his way or no way kind of thing. It's not like I can dictate how, my submission goes. It's not like I can be submitted to it and only the submission has to look like this. And so that's not, I had to come to the realization like, girl, you are not in control of this thing like you think you are. And also recognizing that there's some things that I want to control. I did that video, said I'm not in control and that it's me and it's still me. And it's still that I'm not in control because I'm still trying to like I want to let it go this way. I want it to look like this. I don't want it to be this. And I kept like telling myself like I will submit to the calling, but I don't want to lose me. I want to lose me. And it's like, what about you are you trying to hold on to, Naya? And some of that I realized is still the things that made me who I was. And I still hadn't settled into who I'm becoming. And it's like, you take the experiences of who you were, but all of who you were can't come into who God is calling you to be. So, I've been on this path this year of killing me, killing old thought processes, killing feelings that were keeping me bound to a certain way of life. Feeling like I had to keep a line of communication open with my children's father just so they could have a relationship, even though that line of communication a lot of times hurt me. And God is like, you don't have to do that. My kids told me I don't have to do that. Really killing that. It's my fault that they don't have that relationship. Yeah, like really killing that. That, they're responsible for their relationship. It is not on me. I think as a mother, we take on a lot of different things and we really own more than we should. We are really feel like we are really the masters of certain things. And to a certain degree, when we're in it, we do have the control, When I was married, you know, I communicated all the things about the children and, where they were going to be, what they were going to do, and so forth and so on. And so, not having me do that, that does, put them kind of in a space where they now have to communicate those things. And it was also disappointing to know that when they do communicate certain things, that he just does not show up. And again, I had to let go of that. That's not your fault, Naya. It's not your fault. It is not up to you that they have this type of relationship. And it's also not up to me that people receive me or love me for how I present. I've learned this year that the light that I try to exude, there will be people who will love that light, and there will be people who will not love the light. And that's fine. It's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm okay with that. I'm not even their glass of champagne, and I'm okay with that. So, but I don't stop dimming me because of their unhappiness with how I shine. That's not a me thing. That's a them thing. And I think that I was trying to adjust myself to that, because I'm stepping into, and I'm in a space of where I have a lot of peace, a lot of joy. And when other people don't have that in their life, it's just like, here she come. She kind of happy, and she always, but my life was sad for a long time, and it's like, now I'm happy. So I'm killing, the need for pleasing people, and the need for thinking that people should be like me and think like me and feel like me. It's okay. They don't have to think like I think and feel like I think, And I'm really like killing this flesh. And a lot of times we think about killing the flesh. A lot of people want to look at it like as far as sexual desires. No. I want to kill my thoughts and feelings and emotions around how I spend money, how I eat, how I work out, how I interact with people, how I speak, how I respond. I have done better this year with not holding in what I'm feeling and properly communicating, praying and then properly communicating, and not letting things build up into where I am mad, angry, and then I blow up, because that was my pattern in the past, and I don't want to do that. And I also had to learn that part of the reason why I did that in the past was because I didn't always feel safe in sharing my feelings. I didn't always feel, safe in sharing my emotions. And so sometimes you hold those things in, and then you blow up because you're not in a safe environment. And so now I'm cultivating a safer environment, that the people that are around me, those are people that I can share my thoughts and my feelings with. And they accept that. I'm able to say, hey, can I talk to you about something? Like, I want to let you know that this is how this made me feel. There was an instance earlier this year. So my son got married this year, one of the highlights of my year. And it was at a point where, they kind of did an elopement thing. It was initially, he asked her to marry him in December of 23. And I think that they were going to be trying to plan a wedding, but they decided they wanted to go ahead and get married. And so I have to submit time off by the 5th of the month prior to me wanting a time off. So it was a last minute thing, kind of. And, the date had already passed, and he wanted to get married on this date. And so he called, and we were talking, and so he was like, well, I'm like, he said he was okay with me not being there. So I got really, really quiet. And I was like, okay. And one, I was at work. And so I was like, okay, Naya. Just take some deep breaths. And I just was like, So we got off the phone. And I didn't say anything. But I was really, really quiet, because I was trying to process, and I was trying to filter all the things to say in that moment. We're not going to say that. We're not going to say that. We're not going to say that. So I just didn't say anything, because everything that I wanted to say was like, you can't say that. So he called me and he was like, Mama, I thought about it, and you know, I really would like you there. And I was like, I really had got in my feelings. He said, I know, I could tell, and so it's like sometimes, when the people care about you, like you don't have to blow up, Naya. Like you don't have to, go into, say curse words and all those different things. You can sometimes resort to maybe silence to really process and let that sit with you and them, and then take a step back and see what the end result is. And the end result was, of course, I was there and his sisters were there, and and that was a beautiful moment. But I really had to sit back and like process that, because I was thinking to myself, now what he mean? He okay with me not being there, and then the enemy's like, "I say he don't even want you there." And so many things start playing through my mind, and I was just like, I need to have a conversation with him, because does this mean like you just don't want me to be a part of this? Like, what does this mean? I had so many thoughts, and but initially I wasn't gonna communicate it in that way. I was gonna like yell. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to yell and scream at work. I was at work. So it's like, you're at work. This is not the time to have these conversations. And that was a little tough for me. But again, I'm learning how to properly, put my emotions, through a filter, and filter out, and go through the process of really acknowledging this is what I'm feeling in the moment. Because it's not something that I used to would do, because I wouldn't acknowledge like that I feel like he wants to push me on the outside, even though that was not what his intent was. But I had to think that through, because why else would I have been upset? Because it felt like, you don't want me there, you don't want me to be a part, you're pushing me out. That's what it felt like. And so I had to really process that, and that really hurt, to actually have that thought, like he doesn't want me around. And even to the point of, okay, so does him getting married mean that I'm not going to be a part of his life as much, or what? And the thing is, the truth of the matter is yes, the relationship shifts, but the relationship is still great, it's still good. And that I talk to him at least maybe once a week. I probably do maybe once a week, and if not at once a week, it's every 2 weeks. We call and we catch up and we talk, and and that is important to me, to make sure that I keep those connections, keep that connection, but also communicate in a way that is healthy. So I'm killing that. I'm killing bad communication. And like I said, this eating thing, I keep talking about it, but that is, especially around the holidays, and you really have to decide, are you going to eat this and eat that? I did good for Thanksgiving. I only ate little bits, and I actually didn't do 2 full plates. I got another plate, but it was like just a couple of little things. I wanted some more mac and cheese and dressing, and that was it. And I did good with that. And so, I'm doing better in some areas. I'm working out a little bit more, definitely making those weight classes, because that's really what is going to kill that fat. Like, I want to kill me and kill that fat at the same time, like both simultaneously. I want those things to die. Like, I wish there was a quick way to burn this fat, but it's my diet and the exercise. And so if I can really kick into that diet, because I said in between Thanksgiving and Christmas I need to eat better, and then Christmas Day I'm going to indulge a little bit. That after Christmas Day, because I got this trip coming up in January that I kind of want to be extra, well, more toned for, because I'm going to be on the beach. And so you really want to look nice when you're on the beach. And that's just a goal. So, but this year has been about killing me. Killing things that keep me bound to a place that I'm no longer at. keeping me attached to feelings and emotions and people that don't serve me in this space in my life. And so that's what this year has been about. It has been about really, really stretching myself, stretching my heart to really see where God wants me to be. And I sometimes say I'm in a fight with me against me. I'm not in a fight with anybody else or competing with anybody else about me. It is all about me versus me because, the old me wants to stick around to a certain degree, but it's like, I keep saying I'm on my third phase of life. Like I had life before marriage for the first 21 years, and then you have the next 22 I was married. And so now it's like, girl, you on your third life. Like this is different because you're not married. The kids are not little. They don't require as much. Like Chelsea graduated from college this year. So like, they're 22, 24, 25, and 28. They're not babies anymore. They don't need me as they used to before. They still, need me for certain things, but it's not as a, do what I say do. It's more of a, kind of getting my advice and my, thoughts on things. And I do, try to do that in a healthy way, good way. I always try to lead them back to God. And, so I enjoy that. So it's just like undoing, like I'm the oldest, and so used to be that, I mothered my sisters. I mothered my mother. My sister calls it, and I think I've seen it someplace else where it's a thing where you're parentized. And so, like, your whole life you have, like, I have always been somebody's mama. I have always taken care of somebody. And to the point where the somebody that I didn't take that much care of was me. And so this year, I've done a lot more of that. Like, I didn't think I could do more of that. I thought I was already doing good with that. But no, I am definitely taking more care of me, doing more of the things that I like to do when I like to do them. I'm not waiting for anybody else to go eat with me, go to the movies with me. I'm doing those things by myself. Like, period. If it's a day that I'm off and I want to go do this is what I do. So I'm enjoying this space. I had a little sprinkles of dating in there. That's also something that, God is stretching me, is because, uh, technical difficulty right there, y'all. Sorry. Um, God is stretching me on is like, um, kind of getting a little bit in the dating space and kind of, learning how to communicate with the opposite sex differently is very new. It's some people that I can communicate with, but some of them, they don't communicate well, and I don't like that because I don't like that. So that's something I'm killing me in, like, because I don't like it and because it's so new and because it's kind of difficult. You kind of run away from the things that's difficult, but I'm like, you can't run forever. You know, maybe eventually, if that one comes along, I would maybe consider marriage. But for now, she's single, she's mingling. That's about it. That's where that ends. And, single, dating a little bit here, there, you know, that's it. So, that's a different thing for me. So I'm just killing me, killing all the things that would keep me, like I said, bound to a different version of me, because I was like, I don't want to lose me. And it's like, you don't have to lose you necessarily. You may have to lose some parts, but you're going to find so much more. And so the more that I, you know, let my guard down properly in certain areas, the more that I find a little bit more freedom in this, a little bit more understanding in this. And like I said, we think about killing flesh, like sexually, but I did want to read the scripture. It's in Galatians. Galatians 5, and I am reading from the NIV version. And so it's 5 and 16. It says, I say then, walk in the spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. And then it goes on. It'll tell you, like what the works of the flesh are. And there's, like I said, it's not just, because of course it does say adultery, fornication, uncleanness. But here's the thing: when you think about uncleanness, uncleanness is not just sexually unclean. It's like, what am I eating? What am I listening to? That's another thing. Killing, like certain things that I listen to. I have to watch what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, because it affects it affects your mood. If I come to work every day listening to no limit soldiers, I thought I told you, that might put me in a different mind frame. And so when somebody says something to me, I'll be ready to pop off. I'm just saying, like, can't be listening to Meg Thee Stallion, real hot girl. Like, I mean, so it's more like Naomi Rain, something that's gonna get my spirit in line with what I'm trying to, as a leader, not be so amped up. Now, sometimes Lecrae is okay, because Lecrae's lyrics are a little bit more positive. It's a little bit more leaning towards, God, not, nuck and buck. We're not trying to nuck and buck. I'm trying to be at peace and not be so quick to pop off, because that's a part of the old Naya. And it's like, you don't want to let that go. But Naya, in this new season, you got to learn how to listen more. You got to learn how to be a little bit more accommodating. You got to learn how to not be quick to speak, but quick to hear and slow to speak. So, I'm killing me. And it talks about the fruit of the spirit. Like, the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. That's the main thing for me, self-control. Against such there is no law. And those who are Christ's have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. Let us not be conceited, provoking one another, envying one another. And that's also another thing that I have prayed this year, that God, show me my enemies and show me when I am being an enemy. Like, because, sometimes we can be confused, or we can be tricked into thinking that, yes, those people are enemies. But there are times when you're an enemy. You're an enemy to them, and you're an enemy to yourself. So, like, I want to know when I am not killing myself properly, but I'm killing myself in a way that I can't grow, killing myself in a way that I can't hear or I can't see. And so I've really been on this journey of really going into my heart and really working on things that are at the core of me, letting down a guard and guards, because I had a guard up, because when you've been hurt, when you've when you've been misused, when you've been misjudged, guards go up. And I've had to really allow God to have control of that, even though it's hard to let that go, because it's like, I've been hurt in these areas, and it's like, I don't want to be hurt again. But God is like, you trust me. Like, you do what I'm calling you to do, and you trust me with the outcome. And also to know, even like with the dating, I had a friend tell me, like, you may be hurt again, but Naya, don't stop from getting out there. So it's the same thing. Like, I can't stop just because, I may get hurt by people, things, places, whatever. That's life. Life is gonna hurt. Life comes with some pains. Life comes with some disappointments. But I am convinced that God is definitely there in the midst of all of it. So who am I going to trust? Am I going to trust more on my ability to keep me in this, or God's? because he ultimately has been the one that's been keeping me through everything. And so, that's the thing. Killing me is so much more than just about any sexual desire. Yes, we want to have those under control because we're single, okay? We're single. And we're celibate. And that's all we're gonna say about that, okay? We single and we celibate. We're gonna keep ourselves because that's what God is calling me to. And yes, some of that is a struggle. It's because first of all, I ain't been single in a while. So it's like I forgot about that part. Like, oh, I need to make sure, girl, that you kind of, you know, don't be entertaining certain conversations and things like that. And and it's easy to walk into conversations because I was married for a long time. I wasn't out here having conversations with the opposite sex. And sometimes I'll be like, now how did we get there? Let's dial that back. Let's take that back. We're not gonna go there. We're not talking about that. No, we're not doing that. So, killing me is to, understand that this is a new phase, a new life for me, and it requires some adjustment. And I can't bring the one that was married 22 years on this single journey. I can't do that. I can't take the mother I was to my children when they were 3, 5, 6, and 8. I can't do that. Can y'all see those at 3, 5, 6, and 8? Like at one point, yes. Like I can't bring that mother. I can't mother them like they were that age because they're young adults now. Like they're young adults with degrees, married, have their own households and everything. So it's different. Everything is different, and I think for me the pull is that I just I'm still trying to figure out where I fit and who I am, and not lose my space in a place that I was familiar. And God is like, you're gonna be okay. It's okay to shift. It's okay to do different. It's okay to think different and to feel different. And it's also okay to show your children different. And one of the things that makes me glad is that, especially when I talk to my city girl, Toriana in Atlanta, and she tells me like, Mommy, I'm so happy that how you show us how to live life and how to grieve and how to have joy and how to, because all that's something else that I thought it had to be an either or, that I had to either be in pain but couldn't have joy. No, it's a both and. Because as sometimes I am being freed and I have joy, I still have a little pain. And it's okay to have joy in the pain. It's okay to have look forward to the future, but also grieve some parts of the past where you were at. It's okay to have both and. It doesn't have to be an either or. And I'm leaning into that more. I'm leaning into the both and. Both things can be true. I am very much happy, but I have moments where it's like, could have been different. Could have been different. But it's okay. Those moments don't last long. But it's the same thing. I also had to learn that I had to grieve certain things. Just like I grieve still, losing my mom and missing my grandmother. It's like, especially around the holidays, is that I have so much joy to be spending time with my sisters and my nieces and nephews and my children. But also, I miss my mom and my grandmother immensely. I wish with on everything within me that I could go to my grandmother's house and she pulled out something mysterious from her freezer. And we all like, what is this, Ma? I want that more than anything in this life. But it's just not going to happen because, she's gone on. And so you have that sadness, but it doesn't take away from my joy. So I have both and. I have some sadness, but I also have joy because around me is so much life. I'm so grateful to where God has allowed my children to be, me to be. I have a nephew that's about to graduate basic training in a couple of weeks, and I'll be able to be there with my sister and her family and celebrate that. Life is good. I even had an instance this past summer where, one of my nieces went missing for a day, and we just celebrated her birthday a few weeks ago. And I'm grateful that God allowed nothing to happen to her. And so it's like you have these moments where, yes, you have pain, but on the other side is so much joy. Both and joy and the pain. And I'm grateful that I can feel it. I'm grateful that I can experience it. I'm grateful that it makes me better. And I'm just grateful. Grateful for it all. Grateful for everything. This year has been a year of stretching me and, not being afraid to say no a lot more. Really saying no. And really leaning into what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking and not being scared of that anymore. I think a lot of times I was scared of my own feelings and emotions, because, when you're not heard and when you're dismissed, you kind of think that everybody's going to be like that. But I've learned this year that I've got some good people around me that hear me, feel me, allow me to express, and they also help me to get to where I need to be. They give me permission to live this thing out and to enjoy it. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful. I'm so thankful. I can't wait to see what God is going to do the rest of this year and coming up in 2025. Because I'm getting closer to 50, y'all. And I don't know. This thing, whew, if I feel this great at 48, y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing when I turn 50. Listen, because I'm already planning 50. I'm already thinking about 50. Yes, y'all are not gonna be able to tell me anything, because let me tell you, the more that God keeps taking off these different layers of weight and things that have been added onto me emotionally and physically, through my life, listen, as I get lighter, oh, it gets better as I get lighter. And that's one of the things that I do remember I had on my mirror years back, is that my latter days will be greater. And God is faithful who promised. Oh my goodness, he promised. He showed me that. He's like, your latter days are going to be greater. Because I remember, I was like, I'm getting older. I'm graduating nursing school. And he was like, your latter days, my latter days. And they are. I am living in what God promised me. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. Do I wish some people were here, like my mommy and my ma? I do. I wish they were here. I wish they were here to see this. They imparted some wonderful things into me, and I do wish that they were here to really witness. But I do think that their spirit continues to live on in me. I'm grateful for that. So what are some things that maybe when you look at your life that you need to kill? What are some things that are hard for you to kill? What are some emotions, some feelings, some things that you do that maybe it's time that you adjust, you shift, you get some things in order as it relates to your emotions, your heart, and that you really kill that so that way you can be better. It's hard. It is. When you're used to a certain way of being and thinking and feeling, it's hard. It's hard to not have quick responses. It's hard to not always want to tell somebody how you feel and how you think. It's hard. But you know what? If you sit in it, if you allow God to work in you and work through you, you can really, really get through that. I love you all to life. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for all that you're doing, God. Oh, how I love you, God. I thank you for taking us through this year. I thank you for just all the many revelations, God. I thank you for killing the things within us, God, that are keeping us bound to a former version of us that no longer serves us, God. And I thank you that we will be better the more that we shed off, God. I thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen. Listen, if you would like to continue this conversation, hey, message me, like, share. I'm on the Instagram, the Facebook, and everything. You'll see it. Like, share, look for me. I'm out there. I'm on TikTok, all of it. Like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I love you all to life. Guess what? This is the last video for this year. So Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I'll see you guys on the other side of 2024. Make it great. Make the changes. Don't be scared. Do it afraid. Hey, do the things. Love y'all.